All right, so welcome to the Crux of Linux tutorial workshop as a part of Knight's Auto team. Um, um, so we'll be covering today some basic commands in Linux that are useful when you are developing application, specifically robotics application, because a lot of tools in Linux or in robotics are based on Linux. So you will be in some way at some point will be forced to use Linux. So I wanted to give like a quick guide on how to get started so you feel comfortable with the environment and um, get started with some of the basic commands today. So I'll be following a tutorial which I have on my screen. And for the first one, we'll be covering how to navigate around Linux environment. Okay. So by the way, quick question: do all of you have Linux shell open? All of you, Linux shell open? Okay. Let me quickly show how you can use a cloud-based shell environment, Linux environment. So let's go to this code. I shared this on Discord. It's codeocean.com and then sign up. I would still recommend you to either install it locally on your laptop or do a VMware installation alongside your choice of operating system. So I'm gonna go here and so first step would be to go to codeocean/sign up and then create your account. And then once you are on this screen, after you have verified your account, go to this, create blank capsule. And then this will ask you what you want to, what environment you want to create. Just select Ubuntu. And on the right side, you'll see a terminal-like icon. Just click there. So this will start your environment. And you will have root access to this, which I will shortly explain what it means. So I can do all sorts of, okay. So now this is done. Let me get this out of way since I'm going to show you on my Linux machine, okay. Don't worry about the interface that you see here. I have some customization. That's why it shows different. So still, this is still Ubuntu 20.04, okay. Now for the first thing, as I said, we are going to get started with how you navigate around shell environment, how you navigate around the terminal in Linux, right? So very basic first command is ls, okay. What I want you to do is wherever you have your terminal open, just do ls. ls stands for list, and this will show everything that you have in your current folder wherever you have your terminal open, right? So for instance, right now I'm in this directory. Now this has a special meaning. Okay, he's in the shell. Okay, okay, awesome. So this icon, this tilde icon, it has a special meaning, which is your home directory. Okay, whenever you have your Linux installed, there will always be a home directory for every user that you have on that machine. So for instance, for me, if I just do change directory, cd stands for change directory, and I just do this little tilde and press enter, anywhere I am, I'll be navigated back to my home directory. Okay, and in the home directory, I have a lot of things here, but when you do a clean install, you'll only see folders like desktop, documents, downloads, pictures, music, and videos, things, folders like that, right? You won't see the other files. Now, ls, as I said, is used for listing all the directories that you have in your current directory, okay? Listing all the files, actually, not directories. Now, anytime you want to learn about some command in Linux, there's a very handy command called man. Okay, just do man and the command that you want to learn, and it will show you a short description on what it does. right? List directory contents. And then it will show you all the flags. Now, what does flag mean? Flag is basically a small customization for any command in Linux that you can use and change the way it behaves slightly, okay? So for instance, if I just get out of, you can get out of the man command by pressing Q, stands for quit, right? Just press a Q and you'll be back on the terminal screen. Now, what I'll do is I'll do LSA, okay? Now what LSA does is it lists all of the directories. So if you notice earlier, it was not showing me my hidden directories. Now remember in Linux, hidden directories always start with a dot. Okay, so if you ever make a folder with a dot at the start, it will be hidden by default. So when you just do ls, you'll see only your main files, not the hidden files. But if I do ls and my flag A, which stands for all, I'll see everything, okay? Now there are more things that you can do with this. You have LSL, which will kind of give you more details on every file or folder that you have in your current directory. So you can kind of see when the file was created, right? When the time of the file was created and what access your current user has on this file or folder. Okay, these all flags have special meaning. If I get time, I'll try to cover that. Now, if I do ls/lt, let's see what we get. So this one, I think, let's do man again. Okay, so I did LSL. So it's very easy to find out what it means, a long listing format, okay? L, as I already mentioned. And then we did T. T stands for sort by modification time. So newest will be first, right? If I go back, you'll see that earlier it was not sorted based on the date or time it was created. Now it is. So you see Feb 11, this is the folder that I created today. So I see it on the top, okay? Newest first. So there are so many flags, but usually you'll be just sticking to ls, unless you also want to see some hidden files, you can do ls-a, okay? So that was a quick intro to the ls command. And now we'll go to the cd one, which stands for change directory, okay? Now, change directory always expects you to give a directory you want to go to, okay? For instance, I see all these folders using my ls command, right? You see all these folders. Now let me go to Crux of Linux here. So I'm going to cd. And now there is a very small tip I want all of you to learn here. As you saw how quickly it wrote the entire thing, right? See, I wrote C and I pressed tab. It suggests me, right, what files you have starting with C. Now if I break, so this one starts with C, but this one starts with CR. So I entered CR and I press tab. There's only one folder, so it will complete it and I can directly go to that. So use tab as often as you can. It is basically for suggesting. So if you don't get the suggestion, just press tab twice, okay? Are you all able to see the suggestions? Right, okay, so now you might also have a fresh environment, as some of you are using the code ocean thing. So what I want you to do is create a new directory, okay? I'm going to use mkdir, which stands for make directory. Directory means folder in Linux. So any folder, it means directory. So I'm going to create a new directory and I'm going to, hold on. First, let me go to my home again, right? cd tilde, I go to my home again. Let me create a new directory called test, right? Now I do ls, I see my test over here. And you can also visualize that over here in the GUI thing, right? You'll see a test folder created somewhere here, yeah. So now you're able to create directories using mkdir, and you know how to change your directory. So I can just do test, cd test, and I am in that directory. So as you can see, on the command line, it should show you that where you are currently, always, right? So I'm inside test now. Now, you can also do cd ... Now dot dot means you want to go back to the previous directory. Okay, right? So you need to write only your folder name where you want. If the folder is in your current directory, you just need to mention cd and that folder, and you will be transferred to that folder. But if you want to go back, you need to do cd dot dot, and it takes me back to my home, right? Takes me back to my home. Now I can do more crazy thing. I can go to cd again. I can create another folder. Let's say test2. I can go to test2 and create another folder, test3, right? Now, as you can see, let me go to test3 now. So as you can see, from the home folder related to that, I am 3 folder inside, okay? I'm 3 folder inside. Now, what if I want to go back to my home without using that trick cd tilde? Okay, I can just do this and it will take me back to home. But what if I don't want to do that? I can just do this, slash one more and slash one more. So this is basically saying, take me 3 directories back. Okay, now if I do that, I'm back in my home, right? If I go back to test one, sorry, test, and then I go back to test2, I keep pressing tab and it suggests me. Now I'm here, it's an empty folder. Now if I want to go to test directory, all I need to do is this, and I'm in my test directory now, right? Does this make sense? Any questions so far? There's something online. Okay, so this is straightforward, right? You can use dot dot to go one directory back, and you can use more dot dot to go and as many directories back you want to go. So let's go back to our home directory, and I'm going to go to the Crux of Linux. So just create this directory wherever you are. Just create a Crux of Linux directory, okay? And everything we will do today will be inside this folder, so that it is clear in sense of the structure. So I'm currently inside Crux of Linux. I have one folder which I'm going to just delete. Okay, now I shouldn't see anything here. ls returns empty. Okay, all good so far. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, if I go back to my home directory, and if I want to, let's first go to test and then test. Okay, now I'm inside my test. Now what I'm going to do is I'm manually, for now, I'm going to show you how to create files using the terminal, but for now I'm just going to show you. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file over here. Let me just do it over here. Okay, and then okay, now I want to peek in my test3. Yes. Yes.
So I was just wondering, like, where is this actually stored on our computer?
The commands?
No. Like, let's say we're creating a directory, because I noticed that when we went to like a home page.
Do you have Ubuntu installed on your laptop?
Do I have, sorry?
Are you using CodeOcean?
No, I'm actually using
VMware?
WSL.
What's that?
WSL.
Oh, WSL. In WSL, it should be stored somewhere in C. So wherever WSL is installed, it should be, I think, somewhere in C, because I don't use Windows, so I'm not sure about that. But can you do ls? What does it show?
So when I go back to the home, it's completely blank.
Oh, in your GUI?
In the command.
So you can just do a quick Google to see where it is installed actually.
So like the first time I opened it up, it put me to this directory.
Do you know where that? Oh, okay, this is clearly C, and then Windows, and then System 32. It put you there.
Okay, I know exactly.
Okay, can you do CWD?
Yeah, right.
Can you do Are you guys able to see this clearly? Do you want me to enlarge it? I would have to pull it back. Pull it back?
Yeah, I have to like,
Why?
I have to push the box back. Like, take this entire thing down.
Oh, never
Like
mind.
physically,
Never
I
mind.
have to move.
Are you clearly able
Yeah,
to
are
see
you
it?
guys able to see if anything?
Yeah.
I can
So
zoom in a
watching
little
Zoom,
bit
like,
actually.
other
I can
people
zoom in a
watching-
little bit. Let me do that. How about now?
That is better.
That is better?
Yeah.
So let me also quickly minimize this so that we can see other things. All right, so we're just going to have this on this side and let's have this on this side. So you can see side by side, okay? I'm just going to do clear. Okay, where were we? We are in our home directory. Now I was saying, I forgot to mention one thing about ls. You don't have to go to that directory to do ls. To see files, you don't have to necessarily go inside, change directory to that and then do ls. What you can quickly do is you do ls and then I'm going to peek inside test3. Okay, I just created a file. So I'm just going to do ls and that directory. And I can see a file inside there, which I just created. Okay, I'll show you how to create files, but just be with me for now. So you understood how ls works, right? You don't have to be in that directory to do ls. You can peek from anywhere. So I'm going to go back to my home now. Now, as Andy was asking, you want to see where you are in your Linux, right? You can just do pwd. This is exactly where you are in your with reference to your operating system. So if I'm just going to quickly show you something which is not relevant really right now, but this is, so in Windows, you know, there is a C drive, right? Where your operating system is installed and all your system files are stored over there. So you shouldn't mess up anything, but everything gets installed over there. And in Linux, it's this, it's the slash where everything is installed. So if I ever do slash, it takes me to this folder. So takes me to this folder. Just like when I do this, takes me to home, right? Takes me to home. Similarly, if I do cd slash, takes me to the root, right? So in the root, the tilde directory, the home directory is where from here, there should be home, right? And then in home, it should show me all the users on this computer, right? So I'm Nitish, so I'm going there. Now it takes me back to tilde, right? This is a quick navigation. Is there any confusion about this? Right, if I do ls, I see my home folders again. Right, that was quick. So if I ever want to see what is installed in my system, you can just go here and then find out where it is installed or whatever. This is when you are really doing a system level things, like you want to change a software that was installed on your system, right? So I wouldn't recommend that if you're not too experienced with this, but I'm just going to go back to my home directory and continue the guide. So as I said, pwd shows you where you are currently. So if I'm going to Crux of Linux, right? So it is an empty directory right now. If I do pwd, it should show me home, Nitish Gupta, and then Crux of Linux. This is where I am. This pwd stands for present working directory, okay? So it always shows you where you are. Now, I'm going to skip a few things, which I already covered, I think. Okay, right. So frequently used tabs, they are super handy. Whenever you have a lot of files, you have a lot of folders, and you're not sure what exactly the name of the folder is, just do, for instance, ls, and I want to see what is in my home directory, starting with maybe r, okay? So I just did ls tilde, which is my home directory, /r, and I press tab and I see everything that starts with an r. Okay, I can continue this, writing this, and it will break my the similarity. So for instance, if I go to cross foxy, it takes me there. Now I'm going to, so now notice I'm inside. Let me go inside Ross Foxy, which a folder that I have on my system. So I'm inside Ross Foxy currently, and I want to go back to Crux of Linux. I can quickly do this. See, from one folder, I jumped into another folder without going to home. I don't every time have to go to home to change my directories, right? You can jump between directories like this. Does that make sense?
Does that have to be in the home, within the home directory or anywhere on your computer?
Anywhere. So for instance, you remember I just showed you the root folders, right? So if I want to go to a root folder from Crux of Linux right now, okay, this folder is currently in my home, right? So if I want to go to, let's say a system folder, there's a system folder called USR. I want to go there. I can just do this. See, you remember this stands for go to root directory, right? And then I do a folder which I know it is there. I can do that and I can just press enter and right now I'm in the root and I see all these system files. Right now from this root folder, I can directly go to Crux of Linux like that. Does that make sense? Or if you would like, you know that one directory back is your root folder, right? Because you are in user right now, which is stored inside your root folder. So one directory back, I go to root folder, right? No, root folder. And in root folder, I know there is a home folder, right? And in that, I have my user, right? I can do this. Does that make sense? And I'm back in my home, right? I know this might get confusing, but once you practice navigating around folders, it's pretty intuitive. Okay, now I cleared my shell and I'm going to continue with another command. Now this is a new series of commands. These are for manipulating files. Okay, you want to copy files, you want to move them around, you want to create new files. Okay, let's go to Crux of Linux first of all. This is empty. Right now, if I want to create a file, if I want to create a new file and I don't want to do it from GUI, I can, for now, I can easily do it, right? Where is Crux of Linux over here? Yeah, here. So it's empty, right? I can maybe open some text editor and then save it as something in Crux of Linux. I can do that, but I don't have to do that. Let's say, I want to create a file name called hello world.py, right? It's a Python file. So I need to do touch and that file name. So as you see, the file just appeared over there, right? Cool. So let's try another one. Let's try Andy.text. Okay, there you go. There's a text file over there. Andy, right? Andy. So I have two files in Crux of Linux now, which I just created using touch command pretty quickly. But as you know, these files, if I open them, must be empty, right? This is empty file. This is empty. I'll show you how to put content in that through terminal. But most of the time you'll have some kind of editor. For instance, for editing Python files, I can just right click and I have my VS Code installed, which is the editor of my choice. And I can just open that file in, okay. So
once you create any different file type and make directories just for folders.
touch is to create files.
Any type of file.
Any type of file with any extension. I can create a JPEG file over here, but obviously it will not make sense because it's empty, right?
Yeah.
So I can actually create mishi.jpg, for instance, right? Sorry, I need to do touch, right? See, the command was missing, so it complained about that. So as you can see, now there is a mishi.jpg, but it will not make sense. It will not be able to, it still treats it as a text file because JPEGs are not simple text files. There is a lot of metadata that goes in there, right? For it to be able to see the picture. Anyway, so now we know how to create files, right? Quickly in terminal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another folder over here. Okay, I'm going to name it folder, my folder 1. Okay. Okay, some quick shortcuts for you to learn, which will be very super useful. If you press a control and then the arrow, you will jump between words. Okay, does that make sense? So I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. I can just press control and then press the arrow keys, and it will take me across the words. Okay. I use this very frequently. It's super handy. So I'm going to create a new folder called my folder one. Okay. Do you see that folder here? Yes. And it should obviously be empty, right? Now I'm going to go to that folder and I'm going to create some files, right? I'm going to create, now in this one, I'm going to show you real power of Linux terminal of command line, which you cannot do otherwise using GUI. You can, but it will take a lot of time. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create, you don't have to learn this command. It's just for creating some files, a bunch of files, okay? So I'm going to do this, right? What this means is touch, it creates new file, right? My file will be the first part of the file name. And then it will take one number from 1 to 1000 each time and create a file name. So for instance, my file 1.txt, my file 2.txt, it will take the entire range and create those files, right? So remember, I'm not in Crux of Linux, I'm in my folder one, okay? So there I am, and I press enter, and you'll see 1000 files created with just a command, right? You see that? So just to dot dot, and this is a curly bracket. Okay. Now I can also create my py file, right? For instance, like this. So I'm going to create 1000 more files with the name mypy and mypy file and the number of between 1 to 1000. Okay. Now it just got added here. You can see py files and you can see text file or around here, right? Cool. So now just to make things a bit complicated, okay, I'm going to create my file and I'm not going to change the extension py, right? I'm adding 1000 more files, but the first name will be similar to the text file I created. The extension will be py instead of txt. So I just created 1000 more files, which has half of them will have the py, which I just created, and half of them will be txt. Okay. Now, suppose I ask Andy that this is my data. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to remove all the text files from this folder and put it somewhere else. How do you do that? Move it. Move it. Even if I ask you to remove it, what do you do without using terminal? You do this, right? Right? You do this. I mean, you can come up with clever ways of doing this, but I can give you more and more complicated situation where you won't be able to break the problem, right? So you need to do this to get all the text files. It will be easy for you to select the files which are consecutive, right? From now. So some of them are just text file, right? See, they're all mixed now because all of them start with my, right? All of them start with my. Now, I want you to first learn two commands, or actually 3 commands. One is rm, which removes a file. Another is cp, which copies a file. And the third one is mv, which moves the file, okay? Now let's ls, and you can see all the file names being dumped, right? Are you guys able to, let me stop here and ask if you have any questions for now. All good? Are you guys stuck somewhere?
Yeah, no, I have the notes.
All good?
Yeah.
All good? Okay, awesome. Awesome. So I can see all the files in that folder now, right? And let's try to take one of the file. Just let's do the last file, okay? I'm going to take that file name and I'm going to copy this, right? CP command copies the file. So I'm going to write my py file, okay, and press tab so it completes it, but it will not complete the number because there are so many. I'm just going to write 9, okay, and .py, okay. You can select any file from this and just write CP and that file name, and I'm going to do copy this to ... So I'm going to copy this particular file over outside, okay? Outside with these files. So currently I'm in this folder and I want to copy that file around here. So what I'm going to do is dot, okay? What dot represents it is from the current directory. So dot, you remember dot means go back to the one previous directory, right? Just using dot says from my current directory, okay? So from my current directory, go one directory back, okay? And dump it there. So you see that file being pushed over here. So it will not disappear from my inside folder because I copied it, I did not move it, okay? Fine. So is this confusing? Ask me now, I can give you more examples. So if I just do ls dot, it will show me my current folder content, right? If I do dot dot, it will show me content of my previous folder, right? So oh, I did 3 dot, which means different. So if I do ls dot dot, it will show me, because I'm in Crux of Linux, it will show me contents from my home directory, right? Does that make sense? Because one directory back of Crux of Linux is what? Home directory. Cool. So if I do from anywhere, this is all relative. So whatever, you can do all kinds of things. I can do this and go one more directory back and go back to my root folder and then go inside some folder and then do ls. You understand? You can do all kinds of this comes with practice, but understand the meaning. So dot only means, so if I do ls dot, it will only mean my current directory. So I don't have to put a dot because ls by default takes current directory into consideration, but there will be cases where you need that. But just know the meaning that one dot means the current directory, okay? Now we're going back to the folder full of files, okay? And now we'll move one file. Instead of copy, we're going to move one file. So let's take another file, my file.txt, okay? So I'm doing my file, move my file.txt from wherever it is, actually in my folder, right? I'm already there. And I'm going to, so there is a space in between, okay? So MV takes two things, your source and your target, right? You're picking this from the source. I did not mention any path here because I'm already in that folder, right? Otherwise, what else I can do is I can go back to Crux of Linux, okay? I can do move from folder, okay? From my folder, what I can do is, sorry about that. So let me just copy one of the file. So now, what will this do? Anyone? Try to break it into parts and tell me what it will do. Online student, you can also answer. Was that?
Yeah.
Almost that file, the file 5.7, from folder 1 into Linux.
Yes, that is correct. So what this is saying, is this too small for you guys? Let me do it after I explain this. So what this is doing is MV, which is move space. This is my source folder, okay? This is my source folder and file. So from my current directory, go to my folder 1 and then pick this file, okay? And then space. Now I'm going to put my target, and my target is current directory, which is Crux of Linux. Does that make sense? So what it is going to do is pick this file from current folder in my folder, and there is a file, that's the path. And then this dot only means current folder, okay? So if I do this, it should move my file over here, as you can see. That make sense? Okay, so I'll leave all the experimentation of what all you can try. You can do all sorts of dot and then some folder and then it just have to make sense to you when you're doing it because you have created those directories, right? You have created those files. So you should know how the structure is. Or you can just use ls to see if there is file like that, right? From anywhere you can do ls, as I said, you can peek around from anywhere. So this was about move. This have to be just a directory or a file name along with its path, and this has to be the target where you want to put. I it could be that I don't want to put it in Crux of Linux. I want to pick it from this folder and put it in some other folder. I can do that, right? I can easily have done this, right? And I can just put it in some other folder, right? I can do that. This only means from this, pick this file, which I'm giving you the path, and put it over here. Okay. Yes.
I was just like making sure if you didn't include the first dot because we already are in the current folder, it would be the
Yes.
very first dot.
Yes. It should be.
Okay.
It works.
Yeah.
But there will be certain scenarios where you will need to put dot. For instance, when you're writing a Python program and you want to read a file, you want to tell it explicitly that this is wherever my py file is, pick that file from there, read the file from there, right? Because you need this is called giving relative path.
Yeah.
Okay, this is called relative path. There will be cases where you will need this, so just understand the meaning of it.
Okay.
So if ever you see this, you should understand it, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to clear this up and go back to my folder. Okay, hold on. Before that, let me quickly explain rm command. Rm stands for remove. Okay. Rm stands for remove. Now let's say I'm currently in Crux of Linux, right? Which is this folder. Any questions? All good? So currently I'm in Crux of Linux, and I want to delete the two files that I just copied or moved. Okay, I want to delete these two files. What I can do is I can do rm, and I can just do my file and do tab. Okay, hold on. Okay, there you go. So I can just select the file that I want to delete. Okay, and this print and then press enter. The file is gone. I can do that again. My file. You won't be able to see that kind of because there is some customization that I did which allows me to select the file. Okay, but for you, you can just press tab and it will suggest you the file name. So I removed another file like that. It's easy, right? I removed both of the files. That's it. I used rm. So again, this expects you the path and the file both. So I was lucky that I was in Crux of Linux and the file were in there, right there. But I can do this from anywhere to anywhere, right? I can remove from, let's say, ROS, let's say, or whatever we created last time. See, you remember we created a test and then test2 and then test3, right? I'm going to remove a file which is inside there. So there was a hello.py file, right, in there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to enter and just go back to the test. Where is that? Test. There's no file. It's gone. So I removed from Crux of Linux a file which is somewhere else. I just have to give relative path. That's all. And you need to understand what dot means, what dot means, and what I could also do. This same command can also be done like this, right? Right? There are several ways of doing this. So I could have done this also because I know my folder is stored in my home folder, right? This test was stored in home. So I can easily do that. Now we know how to copy, we know how to move, how to remove, right? Yes.
You can remove entire folders too, right? Like you can remove anything.
Yes, so that's where I'm getting now. So let's do man and do, first of all, let's do CP. Okay, there's two flags that I want you to remember from this. Actually, the important one is only one. So if you do, for instance, let me just quickly show you for now. So I have a folder called my folder, right? Let me go to Crux of Linux. I have this folder, but I want to delete this folder. Let's say I want to rm my folder 1. Okay, I just want to do this. If I press enter, it gives me an error. Cannot remove my folder. It is a directory because RM by default only works for files. It doesn't work for directories. Okay, you have to give a file name for it to work. So if you want to delete this folder, right? I'm not going to delete that folder because I need it. I'm just going to create another one using, hold on, let me just create it using mkdir folder 2. Okay, there's a new folder over here using mkdir, right? I want to delete this folder, but this by default doesn't allow me. So it doesn't allow me. What I need to do is I need to look up my man. Okay, man means manual. Okay, so it says removes files or directories. So it can remove directories, that it can say, it says, but there's a special flag over here that needs to be used for removing directories, right? This is called recursive. So what this will do is whatever directory you give, it will recursively go inside that directory again and again and delete everything that it finds inside that directory. Okay, that's all it means. So you only need to remember that whenever you want to delete a directory, you need to put this flag. Okay, this is how you put the flag. Remember the command and the flag, and then now I'm removing the folder, folder 2. Okay, should be gone. It's gone. Interesting, easy. Let me clear this. Yes, okay, and then I'm going to zoom it a little bit. Okay. Now I'm again inside Crux of Linux, right? Now, you know how to remove files recursively. This flag also works with copy. Okay. When I say copy my folder, hold on, let me first of all create another folder. I have another folder here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to try to copy my folder 1 from here to folder 2. Okay, let's try that. How bad it can be. Let's see. I'm going to copy my folder 1. Okay, this is how I give my source, right? And then I'm going to copy it to folder 2. Cool. This should work. It won't. Again, the same thing, because it expects, CP by default expects you to give files, not folders. So you do this. You do this simple, right? You put recursively copy my folder 1 to folder 2. Okay. Now remember, when I say copy my folder 1 to my folder 2, it will copy the entire folder as it is. It will not copy files inside it. It will copy files, but it will keep the structure as it is. It will not explicitly take only files. So let me do this. So inside folder 2, you'll see my folder 1. You understand what I'm saying? And there will be files inside there. Okay. So it literally did this. You might have done this, right? Just copy folder like that. But I can just do this and it does the same thing. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to also do move folder 2. Sorry, my folder. We tried RM, we tried CP. Let's try MV, which is move. So I'm going to try to move this. Again, the same problem, right? Right. So you know what to do. Okay. So I'm going to clear it up and show you some very interesting things you can do with what you just learned. So I'm going to do CD to my folder 1. Okay. Now you remember I told you I want to move all the, for instance, all the .py files, okay, .py files from this folder. Let me remove whatever is in there. Okay. So I want to move only the .py files from this folder inside folder 2. How bad it can be. Using GUI, what you will be doing is basically selecting all the .py files, right? But so I'm inside my folder 1 where all the files are stored. So I'm going to do MV, okay, because I want to move MV, and then I'm going to say from my current directory, okay, and then I'm going to put a wildcard, which is star. Star means I don't care what there is, okay? I just care about this. Does that make sense? Star.py. I don't care what the name of the file is. I only care that it ends with .py. Okay, so this basically picks all the file ending with .py. Okay, and I'm going to do a simple thing, /, and then I have folder 2. Okay, I'm just going to move all the py files from here to one directory back, and I have my folder 2 there, right? So this should basically dump all the py file from the current folder to inside folder 2. Does this make sense? Is it confusing? Make sense? Right? So let's do this. Let's press enter. See, you saw some change, right? You only see text files now. And let's go back to folder 1, and there are all the py files. Is it not super handy? Right? So this is just like a glimpse of how powerful Linux terminal can get. It's immensely powerful. You can do a lot with this. So similarly, you can also remove file using wildcard. Suppose you want to remove a file. Hold on. So I remember we had multiple kinds of py file, right? Let's go to folder 2. Sorry. So I'm going to go to folder 2. Okay. Right. I have all my py files here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I want to remove all the files. So I have two kinds of file here. There is one which starts with my file. There's one which starts with my py file. Okay, I want to remove all the files which have my py file. So I can just do rm and my py file and then star. Does this make sense? Right? Easy. And I do ls. So you only see my file, py files there. My py files are all gone. Obviously, there is no way of undoing this. So be careful when you are deleting these things, okay? These are handy for large things, but you also deleting a large chunk of your data. So be careful before you do this. That was about manipulating files and moving them around folders. I'm going to now quickly cover, I already covered the touch, right? Touching a file. So let's do some fancy things over here. So I have all these files. I'm going to just copy one of those files, okay, any file. I'm just going to copy some file, .py, okay? I'm just going to copy this back. Does that make sense? So this should be gone in the previous directory over here. So I have my file .py over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do nano my file 1.py. Now what nano does is it opens a in-terminal editor. Yes.
So going back to the previous thing you said if you deleted a bunch of files, like if you did that in a group, it would just be transferred to a trash can. In Linux, is there like a trash can it gets put to, or they just?
Yes, when you delete from terminal, it doesn't go to the trash. I think so. Yes.
So it just completely.
It's gone, right? So that's why I said be careful. Yeah. Obviously, there are ways you can go back to your memory and try to retrieve them, but yeah, exactly. So.
You use like that start with yarn or pseudo. When would you use those?
Shortly.
Shortly? Okay.
Yes. So for installing things, you need to use sudo. If you want to install some app, I can just quickly show you actually. So if I, let me finish the nano thing, right? So I'm going to open the file using nano command. Are you getting an error? If you are, just do this, sudo apt install nano, okay? Just do this. And I'm going to press my password, enter my password, and it should say it's already to a newest version. So this is how you install apps in Linux, okay? In Ubuntu. So sudo basically gives it permission to put the files inside the root. Remember the /. In that folder, you want to do anything, you want to use sudo. You cannot have access to any files, you cannot modify any files unless you do sudo. You can view them, you cannot modify them. Okay, so sudo says, okay, go root Okay, this means root. So you are now the root user. If you know the password of your, if you are an admin person of this system, you can use sudo and it will basically make you give you all the permission. Okay, so sudo gives you permission. Apt is a command for getting that package. Okay, and install is basically install, and nano is the package name which you want to install. So I can also do, if you know your package name, for instance, Firefox, it's already to a newer version. Okay.
So where is it getting that from? Is there like a database?
So yes. So it's all stored in the in Linux's repository managers. Okay. So these names, they are special. So for this was straightforward, right? But for some of the applications, there will be specific name that you want to enter over there.
The repository is
Yes, to the repository. Yes. To the package. Yeah. This basically installs from the package manager. So package manager maintains a name of your package, and you need to use that. So you need to know the name of your package. Okay. For most of the times, it's pretty straightforward, but you can do a quick Google and it will tell you what package you want to install. Okay.
It's been a while since I've used the sudo commands. Is there a way to bypass putting in the password every single time? Or do you have
I
to
wouldn't
put it in?
recommend that. But you can do, I think, su and then enter the password. And now I don't need to use sudo. I think I
Oh,
entered.
So that's only valid for like the
Okay.
section you're in.
Yes.
Don't be like him who does stupid ass stuff.
Okay. Okay. So sudo. There it is. So now I don't need to use sudo. I just need to give super user permission to Nitish Gupta, for instance. But I would say never use this, because you can do anything, right? Otherwise, it will warn you that you are not root now. So if you are trying to modify some system files, if you are not doing sudo and you're not root, right, it will give you an error that you cannot modify these files. But once you are this, right, now you can do anything with your system. So be aware of using this. I'm just going to do exit. So, okay. So that was about how you can quickly install any package, sudo apt and install. Okay. So most of sometimes when you're trying to install a package, you need to do this before you install the package. This basically updates your all the packages. Okay. And make sure the package that you're getting is up to date. Okay. So when you're installing your packages, most of the time you'll be asked to do this before you go ahead and install it. All right. So this is basically updating. Now it might take some time, but I think I can just cancel it. So yes. Okay, let's go back to the nano command. Are you able to type nano?
Yeah.
Awesome. So my file and then the .py, right? Now I'm in this. Yes. So I'm going to nano that file, that py file. Are you all able to nano that file? Awesome. So what I'm going to quickly do is write print command in Python. So I know Python, so I can just quickly write this, right? It highlights my syntax. Okay. I'm just quickly going to write this, right? Fine. And if I press Control X, right, it is going to ask me whether I want to save this file. I'm going to hit yes, and it's saved. It's asking for, is this the file name you want, right? You just press enter, and now you have that file. You see the icon changed as soon as I entered some code and made it officially Python. If I open this in VS Code, you'll see that I have the print command inside there, right? But I entered this using nano. So I can quickly run this file. You all should have Python already installed, I'm assuming. So if you're not able to, you might need to install it. So I just ran that file. So I can see hello world being printed over here. Okay. So Python 3 is the version that I'm using for Python, and this is my py file. Are you all able to run it? All good? Okay, awesome. So you can write, if you're familiar with Python, you can write your whole code in that file and then run it. It will run normally. So now I showed you that content of that file by double clicking it and opening it. That's GUI way, but we are doing terminal here. So what if I want to see what's in that file from the terminal? Okay, I just need to do cat. Okay, remember it as there's a cat which wants to see what's inside there. So I do cat and the py file name, and I see exact content of that file. Make sense? I can also do, there's alternate command called less. I can just do this, and it actually opens the file and shows me. Okay, so I can quickly print it on the terminal, or I can do less and it will open, or you can also do nano again and then just go through the editor mode and can start editing it. That's about how you can change your file content and then view it. Right. Next is I'm going to skip a lot of things because I think we are running out of time, but there's a very handy thing called echo. It's a quick thing. Whatever you write with echo, it will basically echo.
What did you say that cat was again?
Cat is like to view the file content, right? So it actually printed whatever in that file is. So if I have more lines, for instance, I do nano and I write a is equal to 5 and then print a. Okay, I do this, I save the file, yes. And then I do cat, my file, .py. I see all the 3 lines over here. I press Control X, and then it will ask if you want to save it, and then just press Y.
Oh, and then it asks me something else.
Just press enter. It is asking if you want to change the file name. It's
Oh.
almost exactly how you do in GUI. When you save a file, it asks you, right, where you want to save it and what file name you want to put it, right? So it's like a terminal version of GUI, of changing file names and all. Okay, so this was, okay, hold on. Yeah, echo. Echo basically echoes whatever I write inside those semicolons. So if I write hello Nitish, it should basically print hello Nitish, right? Now, there is something called as pipes in Linux, okay? Now this is getting to a new level. You can do this. So you can pipe 2 commands in Linux, okay? Now, whatever I echo, okay, over here, I can just echo it inside my file. I can just do this, okay? Now it's let's cat the file. Let's see what there is inside. Okay, you see, it modified my file, but it did not just add hello Nitish. It removed all the previous content in my file and I just have hello Nitish now, right? I can pipe multiple commands like this. Okay. Now I'm going to clear. All good till here? Okay. All good. Awesome. So next is, these are some random commands I wanted you to know. They come handy. Let's try to do one thing. Okay. Let me. What do we have in here? Okay. Let's quickly remove the 2 folders we have. Okay. Now I want to remove both of the folders in the same line. So I can just do folder 2 and then my folder 1. Okay, I can do this. I can add multiple folders that I want to delete. Fine. I can just enter and both of the folders are gone. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a package. Okay. All of you install a package called tree and press enter. I already have it, so it should install for you. So install tree, and whenever you press tree, you write tree, it shows you a nice structure of your directory instead of ls, which is fine. But if I have another folder here, folder 2, and I have another file, let's see, let me go to that folder, cd folder. Okay, I'm just going to touch a file. Fetch my file .py. Okay, so I'm going back to Crux of Linux. Now I'm in Crux of Linux. I just created a file inside folder 2. Now what I do the tree again. You see, I see all the files which are in my current directory, which is Crux of Linux, but I also see files inside subdirectories. Make sense? Easy?
I did find a useful command if people were having trouble finding where their files were in their C drive. It's explorer.exe space dot. It'll just pop it up for you.
Oh, it will open the GUI. I see. Okay. That's for Windows specifically.
Oh, okay.
So
How did you do the tree again?
So you need to install the tree package first. It's not default package. So do sudo apt install. Okay, install and then just do tree. Okay, this is one way of installing packages in Linux. There are a couple of more ways. One of them is Snap. Snap is like a store for Linux, and you can just Snap install whatever package you want to do. And if it exists in the store, it will download and install. So for instance, for me, I installed this Notion, this app. I think also installed this Discord using Snap. But you can use either. So just press this and it will install tree. Okay.
How do you press CD tree and it shows the tree?
No, you just need to write tree wherever from. So right now I'm in Crux of Linux, right? I just write tree and it will, for the current directory, it will show me files in my current directory and in my subdirectories, right? So it helps you in visualizing where everything is in your current directory. So if I go back to my previous folder, which is my home, right? If I do pwd, I'm in my home and I do tree. Now, this is going to throw a lot of things because I have so much in my Linux, right? It will keep going. So I'm just going to stop. If ever you want to stop something, try Control-C first. That will try to cancel the command. And if it doesn't work, and if you are hung on the screen, just try pressing Control-Z. So that's the worst case, and it should, otherwise you just unplug your PC. Okay, so try Control-C first and then Control-Z. Either of them doesn't work, you have worse problems. So we are all able to use tree. I'm going back to Crux of Linux right now. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is show you another command, which is very handy. Just go ahead and install it if it's not there already. It's called htop. Okay. Just install this package quickly. Done. And just write a stop. It shows a lot of things. Now this is my 8 cores of my CPU, and it's showing me utilization of all those 8 cores. And the one with mem is my RAM. Okay, it's showing me 11.9 GB of 16 GB is being used already, right? And then it shows you all the processes that are running currently. Does that make sense? So I have Zoom running on top, which is occupying a lot of, as you can see in mem, you can see, oh, this is sorting it. So Zoom is occupying the most CPU here. So I just pressed on CPU and I can see that the top one is Zoom. Okay, and then there are other things which are system things. So you can also do a lot of things here. You can kill an app using F9. Okay, so if you press F9, it will ask you, I think, for PID, right? So if I press F9, oh, it just, hold on. Did I just kill Zoom? No. No. Are you guys online? Am I? No, I'm using MacBook here. So
Oh,
are you guys online? Are you? How to delete all those files you created at once? So, oh, at once, that's a good question. So to exit this, first of all, I'm just going to press Control-C. Okay.
I think when you're
doing it on the capsule, it doesn't work on the capsule. Like if you do sudo apt install.
Oh, don't, if you, I'm so sorry. If
Yeah.
you're doing on capsule, don't use sudo. It is already super user for you.
Oh, you were doing already.
Just do apt install tree stop whatever you're installing.
Yeah.
Try that and let me know if it works.
Yeah.
So online also, if you're not able to install packages using sudo in what's that code ocean, just skip sudo and just write apt install tree or whatever package you're installing. So skip the sudo, apt install like that, install tree for instance here. Okay. Sweet. Okay. So does it work?
No, I think for tree it's the package tree is unlocatable.
Try stop. Stop.
Oh, try htop.
Are you? Did you select Ubuntu 20?
Yeah, it's Ubuntu 20. Yeah, I selected it.
Can you do apt update? Apt update.
Try.
You also do apt update.
Did it work for you?
Yeah.
That worked. Now try install. Yes. So as you remember, I said some packages. So online also, some packages before installation, they need you to update your system. Before that, it will not allow you to install anything. So just do apt update for the online thing. If you are if you need sudo, if it complains that you need permission, just put sudo. But just see, for now, for me, it will. So you remember, you were asking me if I can always be sudo.
Yeah.
Right? If I am always sudo, and if I do this apt update, it will update. If I install anything, it will directly install. But now it complained that, okay, permission denied, right? So if I need to use sudo to do this. Okay, so that was about, there's an online question which I'm going to answer right now. So I'm going to go to folder 2 and I'm going to touch a lot of files here. Let's see, touch my file, and I'm going to put curly braces .py, right? And I'm going to write, let instead of py, let's do data, okay? And I'm going to do 1 till 100. So I'm going to create 100 files with name my file and the number, right? So it should have created the file. Oh, okay. That didn't work. Oh, my bad. You need to do ... right? I just created all these files. Now the question is, how do I remove these all at once, right? I just do rm star. About that. Rm star is basically saying, you remember, star means all. Star basically, it's a wildcard symbol, and it says for any match, basically. So star means any match for this. So I just did star. I did not give .py or anything, right? So it will take everything, because everything matches with star, right? Everything matches with star. If I have done rm star .py, this will specifically match only py files, right? Now star, as you remember, it means for any match, right? For any match before .py. All right. Yes. Was that?
Would it work if you did like my file dot and then the star? Or not? Like
It will work, but if you have other files which doesn't have my file start, it will not delete those.
Okay, like if I want to erase every like text file.
So let me give you an example.
Every file basically.
Yes, so let me give you an example. I have 100 files which starts with my file and then some number.txt, okay? And then I have 100 more files with your file and then some number.txt, okay? If I do rm my file start, it will not delete your file.txt files, okay? And the question was if we want to delete everything, just do star. And if you, okay, so for her question initially, if you are sudo and you are in root, okay, if you do cd / and you do rm star, can you guess what it will do?
Delete everything.
It will delete your operating system, right? So more reasons why not do always sudo. I mean, it will not be able to delete your operating system entirely. It will delete till that command is deleted, right? And then the command doesn't exist, so it will just crash. So yeah, it's as good as deleting your operating system.
So if you wanted to delete everything in the file, could you also do rm-r dot?
So that is if you have subdirectories. So if you want to delete everything inside subdirectories of your current folder, you can do flag R.
Yeah.
Okay, and it will recursively. R means recursive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, remember that. So it will recursively delete everything. Simple, right? Awesome. So is the question answered online, students? Okay, awesome. So now we'll move to, we already covered. So star is one symbol in the wildcard list of symbols. Okay, star is one thing that is frequently used. There is also other symbols like a question mark, which will try to find only that single letter. So if you write my file question mark .txt, so that question mark will be replaced with all the files that matches there. Okay, does that make sense? Right? Only one symbol. So so for instance, if you have my file 1, my file 2, my file 3, and then my file 10, 11, 12, and you do rm my file question mark and then enter, it will only delete my file 1 to my file 9. It will only match one character. Okay. Is it confusing?
It
Yes.
has that specific character.
Only one character at that position. So I entered my file after that question mark, right? So anything I have after my file with only one letter will be deleted. Okay, everything else will be there. So I mean, you can go ahead and explore all those things. I will share this document that I'm referring to on Discord, so you can go in more detail. It's all, most of the things that we have covered today, right? Let me see if I want to. I already showed you how to run Py files, right? Python 3 and then the Py files. Yeah, good for that. And you're able to install the packages, right? You too? Are you able to install packages now?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try htop? Htop, it shows you all the CPU and all that information. Okay. Now there's one thing. Now this is specifically when you are developing applications in Linux. Okay. Now, when you're developing applications in Linux, oftentimes if it's a C++ based package, you'll need to download that package in your local directory and then build it and then install it. What this means is, we'll just see. Okay. You all have Discord, right? Installed. I'll just share. So if not, you can just try to search this directory. So go to github.com and write this name, and you should be able to download it. So go to github.com. Okay, and it's like a sample repository I found, which we can use to show what building and installing means. So just go to github.com. Do you guys have it installed? Do you guys have account with GitHub? Okay, if not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a link on Discord workshop. Right, there's a link. Go ahead and copy this. Copy the link, okay, and go back to your terminal. Do you want to see the file name again? So after this, we'll wrap up. It's the last thing I want to show you. Let me quickly see if there's anything else here. Okay, one more thing actually.
And what do you want us?
Did you copy the link?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So go to the terminal. Okay. First thing is I want you to do sudo apt install git. Okay. Yeah, this is uh, the version manager that GitHub uses. Okay. So you want to install Git first. I have already installed it. So just let me know when you all done installing. Now install Git and then just do git clone. Okay.
What was the name again?
Was that?
CMake?
Yes. I'll just keep it here.
Yeah. And we write in that CMake after 12.
Yes, the link. Yes, just write the link here. That. You'll notice that Control C, Control V doesn't work with with terminal, right? If you want to use a shortcut, do Control Shift, Control Shift, and then V. So instead of Control V, Control Shift V. That will paste whatever you have on your clipboard. Sorry? Right click and then paste. There is an option. Yes, you can do this.
Oh, okay.
Right? You can do that. What I do is I have this mouse and I just press my scroll key. So you remember there is a key on scroll, right? I can push it down. And so let me just, when I copy something, suppose I have this, I copy it, okay, normally, and I just press my scroll key and it puts it there. So it's a small trick, yeah. So I'm just going to clear, okay, I need to actually do this one, okay. So, sorry?
Were we supposed to click copy it?
You guys have laptops, right? So unless you have a,
No, like the link for the actual GitHub.
I just deleted it and I copied this one.
oh, what you need to copy, I'll just show you again. So click code, okay, go to HTTPs and just press this, it will copy it, okay? Sorry about that. So copy this. This is very standard for GitHub. Every time you want to install, you want to download a repo from GitHub, just do this. So we will have a session on Git and GitHub next week, most probably. So please attend that. It is going to be super helpful for when we start developing our autonomous vehicles. Okay. So, and it will obviously help you with your profile and interviews. So just do git clone and the link that you just copied should appear here. Okay. So I'm going to do this inside Crux of Linux. Make sure where you are inside Crux of Linux before you do this. So, oh, I know I don't need to do this. Okay. So I'm now in Crux of Linux and I'm going to copy that again and put it here. Okay. And then do enter. Now, if I do ls, I should see that entire repository on GitHub being cloned over here, right? So that a git clone is a command for Git. So when you want to do, when you want to use version control, you want to use all the commands that are associated with this particular command with Git. So there is git pull, git push, okay? There is a git branch. All of those things we'll cover in next session. But for now, just assume that this is something that you understand for now, and do git clone and the repo that I just mentioned, and it should be in your current directory. It should appear in your current directory. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside there. Okay. So this is standard for any C++ library you want to ever install on Linux. Okay. If you are working in this space in robotics, you're going to do this very often. All right, so I'm going to go to the GitHub repo that I just downloaded, and I'm going to do ls, and you should be able to see everything that is in there over here. All right, it's as good as downloading that whole thing. Now, what I'm going to do is all if you are ever downloading you ever want to build these packages in C++, which are C++ based, there should be instructions already over there, but this is pretty standard. You go to that repo and you create a folder called build. Okay, I enter and I should have build folder over here. This is inside the repo that you just downloaded. Okay, make sure you're inside there and you create a folder called build. Fine. Now I'm just following these instructions. Okay, I just created the build folder. Now what I want to do is I want to go inside build folder, and this is going to be pretty standard for all the C++ based libraries that you're ever going to install. So I make the build directory, I go inside build directory, I make the CMake, I do the CMake ... Okay, this is basically saying make everything that is in my previous repository in my current repository. Okay, so whatever code I have back there, build everything inside my current repository. So I'm going to press enter, and it should run a bunch of lines, and if everything works well, you should see done, and it should not fail. Right? If it's failing, go up. Yes, it's right here. It's right here. CMake ... Right? So if something fails, you will have to go through the error that you're getting. Just try to Google what error there is. There's most of the times there's some package that you need to install. So you just go and grab that package and try this again. Okay. The more you do, the more hang you get of it. So I did CMake ... and my now I'm gonna do make. Okay. This make command actually builds every single line of code that you have in your current repo, current C++ repo. So if it works fine, you should see 100% build target. Okay. So this basically built everything in that package successfully. Make sense? So far? These are pretty standard commands when you are building a C++ library.
So after the CMake ... we just type make.
Yes.
The T-shape.
So I'll explain quickly what it means. CMake means you want to configure. Okay. Configure this environment. Okay. Configure basically meaning check if you have everything to build it. Okay. So CMake basically is a kind of check that you want to do before making it. And then I actually make it. Is that clear? So CMake configures and make actually builds everything. Okay.
What if CMake command isn't found?
Yes, that might happen. And what? Yes, you need to install the so every time you face any issue in Linux, any error, just CMake not found. Just Google. Okay. And in the first couple of links, you'll find what you need to do. So for instance, okay, let's try to go to Ask Ubuntu. It's a pretty standard, right? So just follow these three commands maybe, and it should be installed. Try this.
Because the capsule users are AOK, they just need to do app, right?
I know it's not default package, so that's why they're getting error. CMake is not a default package.
Do they do sudo? No, they just do app, right?
Yes.
So just do app.
You don't even need to do get. You just do apt install CMake.
Yeah.
By the way, also do this. Also do this if you're getting errors. Are you guys getting errors?
Yeah.
So we
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about this. So
Yeah. This is what we're both getting. the
yeah,
same.
I have everything installed. So it's before it's running. Let's try build essential first.
So we created it. It's just that these two files cannot be configured.
Try to
Yes,
again, like,
install
do a
CMake
bar
and build
instead of-
essential.
Go back. Do like just. That's just fine. Yeah, now it's fine. Absolutely. Yeah, so. Do you have it? Do you have errors?
Can you install it?
Yeah, so.
If it gives error, again, just do update, okay? Update again. Did you install CMake?
Yeah.
And did you install build essentials?
Yeah, but I'm getting errors from it too. He has the same errors. So I think you should just do update. They should do update.
I didn't do enough to install.
Update.
Are you able to confirm?
It's still giving me. the
Yeah, it's the
error.
same.
Okay, I think you guys are missing GCC. Hold on, let me quickly. Okay, just again, Google what I Googled, okay, and follow all these lines. So just Google CMake not found, okay? And then go to Ask Ubuntu link. All right. Go to this link and copy all these lines and install it. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, you don't need to type everything. And then I'll say it should work.
Something. Do they need to do the software properties comment?
What's that?
The very first line, the software
Oh,
properties.
this is, you only need to do all these, okay? Don't need to do this. You can do this one. That's it.
Like, see for the first line where it says sudo apt-get install software.
Yeah, do all those three lines. That's what I'm saying. Google this and then install all those three libraries, and then you should be able to compile it. See, this is part of building things, right? When you're building with Linux, you'll face these things a lot of times. That something or the else is missing. So you just need to Google and find out how you fix it. Almost all of the time, you'll find something online which solves your problem. Almost all the time, because the community is huge. Is it building for you?
I did the sudo. So I installed the CMake. I did the build essential, and now I'm doing the upgrade. Sudo apt.
Okay.
/get.
So when I typed in Asia, it tells me that no targets has been specified. Like make gives me this.
Did you see make
Just
dot
do
dot?
app install.
See make dot dot?
I did, but I thought this is what I got.
Did it work? If it doesn't work, you won't be able to do it. So that's why you're getting errors, right? Errors. So you need to do this first before going to ahead.
I did
Press
install.
So
everything.
what exactly what error are you getting?
I had this should do it this one. Do the app install software properties comment. Do those first 3 lines. You should get something like that. No, it made the log line. It said like it
I don't
couldn't
need to
find
get
the
one.
log.
No. Show me the command that you ran. And you can bear that.
Yeah, but do I need to?
Oh, here it
Forget?
is. No, just app.
No.
Yeah. I have to wait until this.
Yeah, complete that and follow all those line settings. Does it work now?
I think it's starting to.
Do yes, do yes. When it asks you, do you want to continue, always do yes and enter. So when you're trying to install software, it will ask you, do you want to continue? Do yes and then enter.
Just press Y.
Yeah.
So I have to add the repository.
Was that
The second line.
the second line?
Do
Yeah, do all those three things.
Yeah, so add app repository. Is it 3.x?
So whenever you're searching for questions or errors, look for this green tick, okay? These are often why, because that is an accepted answer, verified one. Let me actually also try to do this in my code. Git clone, so I can also see what is the issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow these instructions, okay? Is this for? Hold on. So I'm going to do the git clone again in my code ocean. See what we, okay. I'm going to do this.
For the IC, yeah. Dropping that Stack Overflow onto the Discord.
Stack Overflow.
Yeah, that's one Stack Overflow you found.
Yes.
And we should. So then we can use it.
I'll share that.
Yeah.
First, let me verify if it works. Okay. I'm doing it with you. So I have the repo cloned. I'm going to do mkdir build. Okay. And then I'm going to do cd build. And then I'm going to do cmake dot, dot. Okay, cmake not found. That was easy because you just need to install, first do update and then install it. So apt update, that installs my updates. After that, I just need to do cmake install. Okay, I don't need to use sudo, right? So I just do enter and enter.
It's just for
Good. There you go. And then I see some errors. So
this, we're gonna have to go for the.
yeah,
to the
hold on.
Stack
CMake
Overflow.
error at standard CMake could not find. Okay, could not find. See, this is the error. Actually, this is the error. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, that's the error we got.
Right? You're also getting the blast error, right? So hold on. Okay.
So I'll just Google Ubuntu Blast to see what the usual one for Ubuntu would be. Basically, some
Okay. Okay.
Open Blast, like that.
That one should work, I guess. So it should work. See, I was searching for there and I see that there's some thumbs up on this answer. So I just copy this and try to install all these things. Okay. I don't need to use sudo. Forget.
That work.
Hold on. Let's see. I'm installing this one. Okay.
Hold on, wait. Let them.
Yes. I'll come to you. So let me do cmake again. Cmake dot dot. And there it go. There you go. It works. See.
So go back to that command.
Now see, I want you to understand what we did so that you can do it for any time you face such issues, okay? I just tried to search the exact same error, could not find blast, and I just wrote Ubuntu as code suggested. You can try other keywords, but be concise when you're searching. Just do not use how to do this or whatever. Just be on the keywords. And then I click the first one, okay, the very first one. And I see, okay, they're also facing some similar issue, find package blast required, right? That's the one that we were getting, if you remember correctly. See, missing blast libraries, okay? So I see that it is pretty close to what I'm facing. I don't read everything. I see if there is an answer which has good thumbs up, okay? I found this and just install this now, okay? Just install this, sorry. So sudo apt install, and this is for yes, because it asks you every time, right? When you're installing, you want to install yes or no. So this is basically saying, yes, I want to, don't ask me, right? So do this and it should work, the configuration. And you can stop the upgrading. You can do Control C. Yeah.
Was it 99%?
Oh, it's.
I'll just let it finish. It's so close.
Yeah. So are you able to install this?
Yeah.
You got the configuration done? Awesome. Did you install that? Now do cmake dot dot. Oh, there you go. It works. No error, right? No error, that means what? It worked for you? Are you doing
I'm
upgrade?
doing the same thing she's doing.
Okay. How about you, Andy?
I am currently installing.
This one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So close yet so far.
Yeah. So Jose, also try to do make
It works.
after cmake. Yeah, just do make.
Oh, okay.
It should do 100%. If it I give you error, there's some problem.
What do you mean?
It's building. Hold on.
Oh,
See, it works.
all right.
Right? Just to make after you do C make. Did you do make?
Yeah, it works. What exactly?
It worked?
What exactly does make do? Like,
So I'll explain again. So I'll go back to, any one of you want this name? Okay, I'm going back to this. This one basically creates the build directory, okay? This one takes you there. Now this one is basically saying configure my make. So I'm going to do make, but first of all, configure. If you, see, it was giving you error because there were some missing things, right? So this basically kind of a check. So there is a CMake list file, which has everything, all the requirement mentioned in that. So when you do CMake, it basically tries to find all the paths and everything and put it together, and so that you can do make after that.
okay. It just
Right?
kinda like makes
Right.
sense
So
everything
if you
is
have something missing, it should, and you have it in your requirement file, in your CMake list file, it should give you error right there. So you should not be able to make it before doing CMake.
Got it.
Right? And this is very standard for any C++ based library, actually CMake based library, yes. Now we have make. That basically means your library was successfully built, okay? It was successfully built. Now you have an option to do make install, but you don't have to. If you till here, what you have done is all locally. When you do make install, it will basically put everything in your root folder, installation folder. Okay, so you don't need to do make install. You can just stop at make. If you're not going to put it in the system, it will not be globally available. Okay, but sometimes you want to make it globally available. Okay. So for that case, you need to do make install. And then there is another thing that you can do. You can put a space and write J and a number. Okay. Now that number will represent how many cores you want to use when you're making it. Right. Now this is useful when you have a large library and you can multi-thread it, the make process. Right. So the keyword is -J and the number. So if I write make install -J8, basically I'm saying make install using 8 cores. Okay. And most of the time the library name is like this. So for instance, for us BLAS was missing, right? If there is any other XYZ library missing, you need to write lib open xyz.dev. Most of the time that's the naming convention, right, Kurt? I have noticed this pattern. Yes. That's the pattern. So there are more packages other than dev, but you want to install dev for the development version.
Chances are, if you leave a couple letters of what was missing, press tab a few times.
Exactly. Use tab, and it should suggest you. So do lib and then maybe open, and then what package you're trying to do, just press tab, and it will show you a few packages. And just if you have dev, just install it. And you should have your dependency solved. All these things, solving issues when you're trying to build something is very important for you to understand when you're working on the applications. So there is an assignment that I want all of you to do. I want all of you to go on the ROS installation page and follow all the commands and install ROS on your system. Not for the ones who are doing online. My suggestion would be to install Ubuntu using VMware or like separately. You can have Windows and Ubuntu together in one of our system, right, alongside, and then install ROS, which will be having a workshop on ROS very soon. Okay, awesome. So now, do we have any online students? We don't. Okay, so it works for everyone, right? Everyone is able to make it. Awesome. So now try make test and see what it shows. So let me just do make test. Yeah. Did you try it? Make test? Do you get similar output? So this basically means it ran. Okay. the project was built. It was, I don't know if you installed it, but that's fine. It is basically running. Now, I'll quickly explain two more commands which are associated with downloading and installing. Okay. One of them is, so when you're downloading files in Ubuntu software packages, you often get some packages as Debian files, and these are specifically for Ubuntu like systems, like which are based on Debian. I don't want to get into details of that, but if you are using Ubuntu and you want to install a DEB file, okay, DEB package. Let's go. So let's see if we can find one DEB package. Okay. Okay, there it is. Let's see if we can install TeamViewer. Right. Let me go ahead. Actually, let's do VS Code. Actually, so go to VS Code and write download. Just Google VS Code download. Okay. And you should see an option of DEB file. This is the Debian file. Just download it. Okay. Save it. It should be saved in your downloads. For the Code Ocean people, I don't think you will be able to do this. What I would want you to do this. Yes, the EB file.
And
Just
we download it from the Microsoft.
yes, Microsoft website. This is a code editor, development editor, which I use. Is one of the best one for writing Python code or whatever, C++. You can write all kinds of code in this one. So I just downloaded that file, the EB file, and it straight went to my downloads. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just go to home and navigate to downloads. Okay. All the these are all system folders, so they're stored in home directory. Okay. I've navigated to downloads, and there should be my DEB file. Yeah. Okay. So now to install this DEB package, there's a command. First of all, you want to install it, so you want to use sudo. Okay. Right. Sudo dpkg. Okay. This is basically saying Debian package. D is for Debian and pkg is for package. So sudo Debian package I flag, which is for install. Okay. So Debian package install and whatever your package name is. So I have two of them. Right. So just write code and press tab, and you should it should autocomplete. It did. What's up?
Oh,
Oh, you just, yeah.
I wasn't even.
Yeah.
downloading. I think the point was to show us how to download Debian packages, right?
How to download and install them.
Okay, so it's not like something we need to continue. Show us.
Yes, no,
Okay.
no. So you can just learn it and then you can try it whenever. Yeah. So if you are installing a previous version of the package that you currently have installed, it will give you such little warning that you are trying to downgrade it. Okay. I accidentally downgraded my VS Code now, but I'll just leave it there. Okay.
I think I got it.
You got it? Okay. So just go to ucfcat.com. Okay. And now just open one of these files and then just right click and copy image link. Okay.
Where did you go?
Any file, just click any file, any image. Okay. Just right click and copy image link. Okay.
Copy
So,
image.
image link. So if you basically paste the image link in the browser, it should show you the image only, right? Now, what I'm trying to show you here is, if you ever want to download an image or any file per se from internet, any file which you have a link for, right? What you need to do is, so were you able to copy the link?
Sorry?
Did you copy the image link? Now do wget, okay? Wget and paste that link and enter. And if I ls, I should have that image in my current folder. So
What is the least?
I just downloaded that image, the link that I just copied, I downloaded it locally. So this works for any file on the internet which has a downloadable link, okay? It will not work for HTML pages. You will end up downloading the whole HTML website. So, right? So you should have a link for a file, and you can just do wget and the file link. Okay. So that's about a couple of ways of downloading and installing package and downloading files over internet into your local repo. We also learned how to build some packages and how to tackle errors while you're building those packages. For instance, the blast one. I guess we can wrap it up here today. As I said, I want you guys to go ahead and install ROS. Not on the CodeOcean, okay? Do it on your local system, either on VMware or whichever way you have it installed. Try it and let me know on Discord if you're facing any issues. And I'll share this document, which I just referred for this tutorial. You can go ahead and go into more depth of it. I touched almost everything, but you can go in more detail. That wraps up today's session. I'll just stop the recording.